Alright, let me know if I come on. I should be on right now. Might take a minute. Alright, we're trying this. Alright, come. Can anybody see me? Hey, I see you, Cherry.
He's looking at you now.
I say, hey, DM.
He's looking at you now, brother.
All right, we finally got this thing figured out. Lord, it was a headache. I still don't know how I fixed it. So, can you hear me well? Or am I too loud? Is there an echo? Give me a sound check. Great. All right. And I can see y'all in the chat. So thank God for Spirit Talker. He figured this out for me. That's why I had him here. All right, people. I want to welcome you to my live stream. Even though it did take me 25 minutes to get here, I appreciate you waiting around. I've been nervous about this all day. And now that I'm here, I'm really glad to see all of y'all. Y'all are doing me a great big favor, and I sure appreciate all of it. I've got to get my book out here. I want to thank some people, and I want to promote some people right quick on this live stream. And I want to tell you right now, if you're on this live stream and you want to promote your channel in the comments or in the chat, feel free to do so. All I ask is you don't put your PayPal information, but feel free to put your URL to your channel. And feel free to embed, clone, or copy anything that I do or say. I want to give a big shout out to Liberty Smith and to Dangerous Freedom. They're two great patriots. I've talked to them for quite a while today and yesterday, and it was really enlightening. But I have a special shout out to the Great Dirtbag, aka used to be the Great Douchebag, for your PayPal donation to my channel. The Great Dirtbag, I appreciate it, and I can't thank you enough. When I get started tonight, I'm going to do things a little bit different than what I've ever done because I've never done a live stream. So here's what we're going to do. Once I find my papers, I want to talk to you a little bit about abortion. That's Michelle and I. That's our main concern. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about how these states have passed these laws with all these abortion restrictions, and Alabama passing a total ban on abortion. Of course, none of this has gone forward to the courts. It's all going to be turned back, and things are going to stay just the way they are for a while. But here are a few facts that the pro-choice people call a frightening crackdown on women's reproductive rights. Since the passing of Roe v. Wade, pro-life activists have been chipping away at the law without much success. But finally, we're seeing results from our labor, and President Trump appointed 2 new judges to the Supreme Court who are both pro-life. And that scares them. But I made a video just the other day about Judge Gorsuch and Judge Kavanaugh, and I'm not too happy with what they're doing. So these pro-life people probably aren't as worried today as they have been in the past. But I want to give a few shout-outs. Disabled Vets Perspective, History Bee, Forbidden Information, Patty, Ashley, DM, Liberty Smith. Man, it's good to see all of y'all. I sure appreciate it. But it's really hard to be pro-life these days and in a democratic world. Abortion isn't pro-choice. It's murders of preborns, and it's It's just the simple fact that that's all it is, and it's simple murder. And you know, it's even though Trump appointed these two justices to the Supreme Court, as of yet they've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing for our pro-life stance. And every time something comes up to the Supreme Court that has anything to do with abortion, good Lord, they kick it back. They don't want to touch that stuff. But you know, that's just the way it is. They're always going to be that way. They're never going to change. And you know, they say there's nowhere near enough abortion clinics in the United States. Well, there's 6 states that only have one abortion clinic, and that's true. But 27 major cities and much rural Americans, they say, are in an abortion desert, if you can believe that, where most women live more than 100 miles from an abortion provider, and that is not acceptable, and licensing requirements make it difficult for abortion clinics to stay open. What are we supposed to do as pro-lifers? Are we supposed to make it easy for them to stay open? No, it's our stance to get every one of them closed. And hopefully, in time, we'll see some of these abortion cases go before the Supreme Court, and hopefully they won't sit on their hands and they'll do what's right for America and for the patriots. You know, some states have effectively banned abortion, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I live in Georgia, and we have a 6-week heartbeat bill. And you know, we have Alyssa Milano and all of these Netflix and these other people who are making movies here saying they're going to pull out and they're going to take away $9 million worth of revenue from Georgia. But I say take it. Who cares? You know, they believe that anything that we do is an outright ban on abortion, but that's not exactly the way it is. The Gutmacher Institute says that 42 abortion restrictions were enacted between January 1st and May 15th in this year alone. This includes measures requiring parental consent for teenagers to get an abortion. That's what I wanted to talk about. Teenagers getting abortion. So what are we going to do now? As of yet, it seems that these teenagers have been getting abortions with absolutely no parental consent. I don't know who took them to these abortion clinics, but evidently they've been having these abortions for quite a while. And I think that a crackdown on that is probably the best thing that they could do. The last thing we need are our teenagers starting to have abortions at these young ages. It's an absolute sin against our children. It's just like giving birth control. I had a big argument with my sister one day. We were talking about birth control for preteens. And I was talking about how it was just a license to have sex. Okay. I believe it's a license to have sex. I would never have given my daughters the pill as a preteen. I never agreed to them to ever take the pill as an 18-year-old. That was up to them once they became an adult. But these people, like my sister, and she says it's insurance. It's just to make sure that they don't get pregnant. And I says, well, you know, most 10, 11, 12-year-old girls aren't going to be having sex unless they're on the pill and they know they can do it. Because kids are maturing much earlier these days than they ever have before. And if a parent seems to think that a child of 10, 11, or 12 needs to be on birth control, then evidently she's thinking that this child is probably going to get involved in sex sometime in the next little while. And I don't believe that it's prevention. And I think it's a license to openly have sex as a child. And there we get back to the child. But you know, I want to talk a little bit about pedophilia too. You know, they say in order for it to be pedophilia that you must be 16 years old and you must also be 5 years older than your victim. So if you're 16 years old, that means that you can rape an 11-year-old girl and it's not pedophilia. People, another license to do the wrong thing. In California, ninth graders are being taught that pedophilia is a normal orientation. Well, people, I don't understand how pedophilia can be called a normal orientation. But they say that sexual orientation into pedophilia is nothing more than being a heterosexual or bi or a homosexual. I disagree with them wholeheartedly. But how are we going to change California? You know, California is doing some of the most stupid stuff I've ever seen. And I think it's time that they stand accountable for what they do. I don't believe for 1 minute that pedophilia should be taught in our high schools as a normal sexual orientation. What do y'all think about that? I want to say hello. Who else is here? I'll tell you, I sure appreciate y'all showing up. I've got so far off of my track, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't matter. I've got enough written down here, I can figure it out. You know, they talk about abortion clinics being too few and far between. Well, I contend that one abortion clinic anywhere in the United States or the world is one too many. So what is it? Getting to an abortion clinic is difficult. What's the problem with that? I don't care if it's difficult for them to get there. I don't care if they have to drive an hour. I don't care if they have to drive 10 hours to get an abortion. That's not my concern. My concern is for that preborn to not be aborted. You know, these murderers and these abortionists, they have a hard time to get somewhere to murder their preborn child. Why are we supposed to make it easy? But that's what the demon rats want. They want it made easy. They want it made simple. They want abortion clinics in rural areas. I know for a fact that in Maine, they're putting abortion clinics in rural areas and so that they have easy access to abortion. Of course, Maine is one of the worst abortion states that we have in the United States, and most of the adjoining states around Maine are doing the same thing. They want to bring these abortion clinics out into the country and into the rural neighborhoods so that you don't have to go very far. You know, in these major cities, abortion clinics are within walking distance of almost every female that wants to have an abortion. And now they want to do the same thing in rural areas and out here in the country where I live. Well, I'll tell you, I don't want an abortion clinic in my neighborhood. I just don't want it. And living in Georgia, I don't think I'm going to see it anytime soon. But you know, protecting these preborn children and making laws to end elective abortions, they say it's cruel and they say it's punishment for these women. I say the cruelty is the murdering of this preborn child. That's where the cruelty lies. You know, it's more BS from abortionists on the new restrictive abortion laws. They're up to their arms because they must require parental consent for a minor seeking to murder her child of a preborn baby. So they're all up in arms about that. They want these teenagers to be able to have abortions without telling their parents. And that's pretty much the way it's been. So are we going to stand for that? I mean, is that going to be the norm? That give me an age, people. How young of a minor are they going to take in for an abortion without their parents' consent? Is it going to be a 14-year-old, a 13, or a 12-year-old? I don't know. These are the answers I never get, that I always ask for, and I never seem to get from anybody. I don't think that the demon rats can give you an answer because I don't think they know. I really don't think they know. So let me get this right. Women who choose to murder their innocent preborns will achieve their goal no matter what if they really want to abort that child. You know, their new battle cry in abortion now is at any cost. abortion at any cost, because having a child is dangerous to a woman's health. Well, I've heard forbidden information and a lot of other people, and I've seen the research that says no, abortions cause a lot of health problems for women. Not only infection, but damage to their insides, or a lacerated uterus, and they bleed to death. Yeah, those things happen. So I ask you, why would a woman ever go through that, knowing that there's a chance that she could get an infection, she could be lacerated and bleed out, and she could have problems on down the road trying to conceive another child later down the road? But yet, if you're pro-life and you choose to have a child, they say that you are the one that's at danger. It's not the abortionist who are looking at health problems. It's the average American woman who gets pregnant and births a child and raises a family. Those birthing procedures are dangerous to your health. So I guess we're not supposed to have any more babies. You know, it's really crazy the way these abortionists like to think. They think it's abortion at all cost. And you know, they say that abortion is discriminatory. Well, I don't know who we're discriminating against. We're not discriminating against anybody. You're the one discriminating against that preborn child. You're the one saying that you have the ability and it's your choice to kill that preborn at will, for no reason other than convenience. You know, today you can get an abortion for any reason as long as you have the money. And it's all about killing babies in the womb and making money, plain and simple. There's nothing else to say about it. You know, I don't believe the abortionists who say that 73% of Americans are pro-abortion and they want to see Roe versus Wade remain in effect. You know, abortionists are fighting hard against any and all restrictions on abortion, and we must stay on the offense and give baby killers in your face responses. We don't need to let them get a foothold. We don't need to start taking back steps. We need to step forward. We need to march forward. We need to keep strong on our pro-life ideals and our pro-life way of thinking. The preborn babies are the only thing that matter. I'm sorry, but the mothers are adults. They knew what they were doing, could get them pregnant, and they got pregnant anyway. But I don't believe that that gives them a right to murder a child. So, okay, people, I haven't been going that long. So, somebody talk to me. Give me a question. What do you want to talk about? Hello, the great dirtbag. Glad to see you made it. Jake Ryan, Jervis, Michelle at Forbidden Information. I've probably said these names before, but I'll say them again. You're right, Ashley. Unnecessary abortion is evil. It doesn't threaten the life of the mother or the baby. It's unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary. I believe that elective abortion should be outlawed. I don't think that we should allow abortions for convenience. I just don't believe that that's something that we should do as God-fearing, loving Americans. We should never want to see our innocent preborn murdered. And you know, talk a little bit about Judge Kavanaugh here for a minute. He came up today in my mind. I don't know what to say about Judge Kavanaugh. He back in, I think it was, I don't know, 2017, a case came before him about an immigrant girl, 17 years old, who was pregnant and wanted an abortion. Well, it went all the way to his district court, and he denied her abortion request. But the appeals court upheld it. So now we have immigrant girls coming across the border. Some of them are pregnant when they cross the border, and many of them get pregnant after they cross the border. These girls are held in government holding facilities across the South. Texas, Arizona, they've all got them. This particular one in Texas, where the 17-year-old girl was. And the appeals court says that we have to allow them to have abortions. And people are talking about, well, they have money. Let me tell you something. The people who are in these holding camps, these girls and these boys, they shouldn't be housing them together. You know, they ought to put them in separate dorms. I mean, we're getting children pregnant in these holding camps, and then we're having to foot the bill for their abortion. It just isn't right. You know, and it's like the Hyde Amendment. You know, the Hyde Amendment said that the federal government would not pay for abortions. And then you have creepy Uncle Joe pedophile Biden. He was a big name when signing the Hyde Amendment back when it went into effect, and now as a presidential runner for the Democratic nomination, he is backtracking on that. And he's acting like, well, he did never support it. But see, that's what we get from these demon rats. We get nothing but hem-haws and bullcrap and lies and deception and hate. That's all we get from demon rats. We never get any kind of loving support or kindness. Never. We're never given the equal benefit of the doubt. Never. We're always demonized. We're always the one that's wrong, and we're always the one that is going to be called out by the mainstream media as right-wing, conservative, patriot Americans. We are the one being hushed. We are the ones being censored. We are the ones that are not being allowed to use our First Amendment. We're not allowed to speak out. I don't know how long it's going to be before America wakes up and realizes that everything that's going on right now in America that is not good is because of the demon rats. Anything that we try to do, preserve life, close our border, secure the border. No, let's stop immigration. But no. They want immigration to continue. They want pedophilia in your schools. You know, they're for anything that is not good and against anything that is good. And if God is in it, they're definitely not going to be a part of it. They're going to fight tooth and nail. But you know, I was talking to Dangerous Freedom today, and believe me, he's prepared for any emergency. I guarantee you that. But I was talking to him today about the Georgia Guidestones and about how they say that our civilization should be reduced to 500 million people. If you've never heard of the Georgia Guidestones, you ought to look them up. Nobody knows his name. He has a synonym, R.C. Christian, I think he goes by, paid for it. It's written in 5 different languages, and it's a mini Stonehenge here in Georgia. But it talks about reducing the population and how to manipulate that population, because right now we have way too many people. So they're wanting to see a whole lot of people dead. And people, that's a fact. That's what the cabal wants. Eventually they're going to go to that. But we have so many people right now that we can't be managed. Not as a whole. You know, we have people in little countries in the United States and places, and yeah, you're governed by a government, but we're not really controlled here in the United States to the extent that some people are. But people, I'm rambling on. I don't want to just keep going on and running off at the mouth. I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, the lazy ones will be the first to go, Ashley. You're right. You're right, Cherry. Militias and veterans are going to be the ones to take the fight when the fight time comes. We're going to be the one. George Washington, you're right. 99.9999% of all politicians are corrupt. Ashley says the Georgia Guidestones are a mysterious warning to those who don't know where they came from or who owns them. I agree 100%. Hello, Dangerous Freedom. You just got here. I've been talking about you, brother. Glad to see you. Had a hard time getting here. Thank you, Effie. Hugs and stuff to you, too. George Washington says he thinks he's going to cross the Delaware again. Well, when you do, let me know, because I'd like to row the boat. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate everything you're saying. This is my first live stream, people, and I'm nervous as heck. I really don't know what I'm doing. I used to make long videos in the beginning, and then I found out nobody watched them anyway, so I cut them real short. And so now I'm not used to going quite so long. But you're right, Ashley. So many wonderful people here, and I'm blessed. I can't see the numbers exactly how many are in chat, but a lot more than I thought would be. And I'm grateful to each and every one of y'all. Thank you, Ashley. Don't be nervous. Well, it's too late for that, sweetie, because I've been nervous since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. But if there's anything you want to talk about, feel free to jump in there right quick. And I'll try to answer your questions. And if we don't have anything going on, I may cut this video short because I have no more information to bring you. I thought it would take a lot longer than what it did, but I lost my papers and I think I missed about half of what I wanted to talk about. 17 watching, 19 thumbs up. That's great. I said if I had 10 people watching, I'd be happy. So I've made my goal. I want to thank you again, all of you, for coming here. But I'm going to let y'all back out of here and let y'all go find something else to do on your Sunday evening. I promise you next week I will definitely have more information and I won't be quite as nervous. And okay, Forbidden Information. She's going to be going live at 10 p.m. or 10:30 tonight, so be sure you check her out. Be sure you check out Dangerous Freedom. He's got a good channel. You need to check him too. We want to thank DM. We want to thank Ashley, Effie, Cherry, Jake, Liberty Smith, P. Hafner. Thank you, Patty, for being here. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to let all y'all back out of here, and I'm going to end this thing. Yeah, do that. Please look up History B's live promo coming up after this. So look for History B. I'm going to get out of here, let her get started early. And next week, I promise you, we'll have a different live stream. But as long as you're here, it'll all be good. So people, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next Sunday, if not before. Thank you. I love all.